The MDGs set out basic development milestones. If you are passing these milestones, you are on a roll with development. You've got every child through primary education. You've substantially reduced poverty and hunger.
Education across the world is considered to be the high stakes way in which you can catapult an environment into a developed future.
I think that women are very entrepreneurial. Given a chance, they'll access the credit, they'll use the opportunities, they'll create a better livelihood for themselves and their families. So supporting the creation of those micro businesses, small businesses, right from the very smallest level is absolutely critical to the empowerment of women and the growth of a vibrant private sector in societies.
UNDP really has several roles. The first is actually creating the partnership, and in doing so creating awareness on the Millennium Development Goals and the role that businesses can play, but also a brokering and a facilitating role. What are the triple wins? You know, you're looking at environment, you're looking at social, and you're looking also at economic. You want equitable economic growth, which is sustainable, but also which is not harmful to the environment. So I think what we need to do is find business practices and models which really integrate that.
Companies operating in Africa engage with their environment and communities in a range of different ways. Interventions span from philanthropy and CSI to corporate social responsibility and creating shared value. Regardless of the context, the common thread must be sustainability.
I think historically, sustainability was defined as a business that meets the demands of today without impacting or negatively impacting on businesses of the future and enable them to meet the objectives in the future. We are further refining this broad framework of sustainability, taking into account its cross-functional nature, which does not only span the areas of safety, health and environment, but also looks at the areas of corporate investment, of community involvement, of community empowerment.
Climate change poses risks to industry, but it also presents opportunities for the development of new products, markets and competitive advantages inherent in the low-carbon economy.
Political change doesn't really lead automatically to widespread economic benefit for all. We believe that a broad-based approach to transformation is necessary, and particularly focused on aspects like job creation and skills development.
Much of Africa has seen quite high economic growth rates in recent years, but that high growth hasn't translated into greater food security or in many cases into much poverty reduction. The trick is to make the growth much more inclusive, to focus on where the poor are actually living and working, which is so often in the rural sectors, and also to focus on building up the micro businesses and opportunities for the small business people to get into the bigger value chains.
Profit then is intrinsically linked to making all of these things work, because you can't do this just as a charity. And people in Africa are not asking for aid. They're asking for profits which is made from their country to be ploughed back into the necessary components to make it sustain itself. Instead of taking the resource and sending it to another country and it comes back as a finished product. Africa, within the new economic framework, has undergone tremendous change, and of course it has to do with the multi-party democracy or the winds of change that are blowing through Africa.
In emerging African economies, foreign direct investment and sustainable business activities can be a force for social change on the continent.
Foreign direct investment is really recognized to have a very significant and a positive role in African economy. The positive effects, I think, are quite easy to see. The most important is improved human capital, and this comes about through, for example, knowledge transfer. Foreign direct investment companies bring in different ways of working, different management practices. They also bring in different technologies, so there's also a technology transfer, skills, etc. But also job creation, because coming in they also bring in different types of jobs, and that creates jobs in the economy. Foreign direct investment also then makes the links to markets that wouldn't normally be present in the country. So there is this link to the local and the global. as well as creating competition in the country. So you're also working towards increasing productivity. So there is actually quite a large number of positive effects. The Millennium Development Goals are probably the most powerful goals that the whole world has actually signed on to. They won't be achieved by any single organization or government or group or civil society. They're really goals that we all have to work at. And what's important for business to understand is that in order to achieve these goals, there is a very strong role for business, because business private sector is the engine for economic growth.
No one actor can achieve the MDGs or take development all the way to lift people from least developed country status to middle income country status to going all the way to graduation. So it means governments working with stakeholders in their own societies. That includes business, it includes communities, it includes local government, it includes civil society organisations. And the development partners, we have to work together. If we work together, that strong partnership will achieve far more than if each of us tried to work on our own.